Hello, my name is Kevin Short. I'm a Southwestern candidate for the degree of PhD in philosophy of religion. And I've been noticing a story in the news that when I started looking up the details, I thought that I needed to at least say something. As everybody knows, recently a CEO of United Healthcare, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot in New York in broad daylight. And the problem I'm seeing is some of the response. I'm seeing a lot of people online who are glorifying the shooter. Oftentimes because of issues and alleged issues with insurance companies, including United Healthcare. Now, I'm not going to try and claim that insurance companies are perfect organizations. A lot of these issues are complex. We have a serious set of problems in our healthcare system with costs. Some of these things come from a lot of different directions, including regulations, insurance around lawsuits. There's a lot of fraud in the system. There's a lot of bean counters involved in the system. There's a lot of problems. And can insurance companies be greedy? Absolutely. So can everybody else, unfortunately. And when one person's greed gets pitted against another, well, that can be bad. I'm not sugarcoating anything when it comes to the insurance companies. I'm not going to make an argument about that at all. I certainly understand why people are upset with insurance companies. If it takes 5 years to get through a claim and you're suffering that 5 years, you feel you can't afford a lawyer, etc., etc. I understand those problems. I've had a fight with an insurance company myself. I had a head injury a few years ago, and that court case, it didn't end up going to trial, but the whole process of trying to deal with that matter and dealing with, quite frankly, initially a very, very low ball offer. And then me even claiming that there was no evidence that I had had the concussion that I had, or any of the other elements of the TBI. Despite the fact that it came up at deposition, was kind of a wow moment. So yeah, dealing with an insurance company can be a little tough. I'm not going to deny that. But central to the American experiment in democracy, and it's something that comes from our nation's Christian heritage, is that we don't resolve problems with violence unless there's absolutely no other choice. And when we start treating violence as a good thing, we're on a very dangerous path. This was a human life. Maybe he was a despicable man. I don't know much about this particular individual. I'm not going to claim that he was. But prosecuting those things is a matter for the government, not for vigilantes. And there's something very macabre, morose, and just absolutely terrifying when people start rooting these people on. The loss of a life, a soul entering hell, these should not be simple matters that we rejoice over. This was a man with a wife. This was a man with children. This is not something to rejoice over. And it makes me start asking, are we in a country that is still able to maintain a democratic government. A democratic government can only be maintained by people that holds forward the virtues necessary to make democracy work. In the ancient world, they had democracies, but they failed. Why did they fail? Well, some people will talk about demagogues and other things, but ultimately that's not why they failed. The reason why they failed is because the people failed. The people didn't have and hold the necessary prerequisites in their hearts for democracy to function, which included self-responsibility. It included, the willingness to give up blood feuds and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It meant accepting the social contract and accepting the rule of law. And ultimately, in both Greece, Rome, and other places, that was something they were unwilling to do. Quite frankly, democracy is not conducive to human nature. And it's only been by God's grace we've been able to maintain one. And I often wonder, in our post-Christian society, are we going to become also another post-democratic society? And the jury is obviously still out on that. But this is not a good sign. So if you're cheering on the shooter, I would urge you to repent. And if you are watching the news, I would just caution you to be careful not to get carried over into this blood feud, bloody communist narrative. And I use communism specifically because one of the core tenets of communism, and this may or may not be involved in this, I don't know, but one of the core tenets of communism is bloody revolution. Communism, if you read the works of Karl Marx, Engels, and others of their major figures, Lenin, these men were very bloody-minded. And it is not a path we should follow. Thank you.